Hello guys and welcome back to episode number 5 of our EAFC 25 career mode, starting here with Southampton. It's been a pretty decent run for the Saints with 2 wins in our previous 3 games, which has seen us climb up to mid-table in the Premier League. Today we're going to close out the calendar year with the rest of our games in December and head into the January transfer window, where we've been drawn at home to Middlesbrough in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. We've also got 5 fixtures coming in the Premier League, all 5 of which we will be facing off against London-based Premier League sides. So jumping into the first of those 5, it is Tottenham at home at St Mary's, our first clash against them this year, where I would certainly take a point. Come on, you Saints. Now, before we actually kick off here at St Mary's, I did have a comment on, I think it was episode 2, about playing on the classic simulation settings or simulation. So I think for me, obviously, having realism is a huge important part of my saves. So I'm actually going to try for this episode just to play on the simulation mode and just see if that sort of helps with the gameplay with a more realistic feel, because that is one thing that I always do strive for in my career modes. There's Brennan Johnson. Oh, there's a big gap in our defence and Son is through and he's not going to miss that. I'm not sure where Jack Stevens went, but he seemed to step out into midfield and left a huge gap in our backline. Heung-min Son always going to punish you from there, but that is such a cheap goal to concede. Out to Suleimana, just trying to concentrate here. There's Sugawara. Back to Aribo, shooting chance, and it's not too far away from Vicario's far post. Just slowing it down there, as we discussed with the simulation settings, slowing the pace of the game down. And Joe Aribo so close to firing us into an equaliser there just before the break. Brereton Diaz looking to weave his way through. Back to Aribo. There is Armstrong. Gets a yard and fires the shot in, which Vicario saves relatively comfortably. But first real save of the game for the Italian. And we're starting to create a couple of little half chances. Half an hour to play. Still Spurs lead by 1, but we're not out of this yet. Well, just seen Adam Lallana go down here right at the bottom of your picture. And I'm hoping that is not going to be too serious. Our top goal scorer this season hitting the deck. And he's our top scorer by some way as well. Cameron Archer's got a few, but without Adam Armstrong's goals, we would not be in the position that we are in mid-table in the Premier League. Johnson, skipped away. Brennan Johnson pegs it to Maddison, and there's Son for the dagger. Well, we've defended pretty well today, but we had to send bodies forward looking for that equalising goal. And Tottenham pick us off on the break and grab the second. Heung-min Son with a brace, celebrating in front of those travelling Tottenham fans. And, well, it's just that lack of quality and the difference in quality between ourselves and the sides at the top of the table that's the difference at the moment. Well, as we get back to the menu, let's see how bad the injury is. And so first of FC 25. We've had a couple of other little knocks here and there. Bella Kotchap and Fernandez both went down. But our first broken toe injury of the game and of the save, Adam Armstrong, are down for 3 months. And that is going to be a huge miss for this Southampton side. Our top scorer in all competitions this season, and we're going to be without him for 3 months. Well, we should also have our next batch of Youth Academy updates as well. So let's start with any Scottish goalkeepers. Shane Malcolm and Ollie Smith both still looking pretty decent. As for England, again, there's not really anyone in here that's shouting out at me. No one with any decent potential. Well, we have got this guy's Aristides Papa, one of the Papa family. Looks like he could be okay. 71 to 94 potential. I think I'm going to turn down his brother or his cousin Makarios Papa with the potential decreasing. But as for Alikos Harris, 14 years of age, looks pretty decent. I've scouted him for a few months. I'm going to chuck him into the youth academy. And as for that academy, it's still Connor Cox who looks the best. I might, at 16 years of age, promote him to the senior team in January and try and get him loaned out and see if the loan system is as good as it was last year. Oh, well, guys, looks like too much has not changed as Bella Kotchap comes to us to say that he wants to move away. He's handed in a transfer request. We saw this so many times in FC24. I know that he is on the important squad role, but he's just come back from injury. We've got lots of players, lots of games. His stamina isn't the greatest, and I have to rotate the team. He was my long-term partner for Taylor Harwood-Bellis, but it looks as if potentially in January or in the summer we could be seeing him move as, well, we've got a bid here from Brighton, and I guess if we're going to sell him anywhere, a move to Brighton kind of makes sense. He is still under contract, so we could just try and keep him, but I don't really want to keep a player that doesn't want to be here. So for 7.5 million, looks as if he is heading to our South Coast rivals Brighton. Well, with it looking likely that Bella Kotchap's going to depart, he's not going to play in our next one as we travel to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham, looking to get back to winning ways after a tricky... With Bella Kotchap likely to depart, he's not going to be in the matchday squad for our trip to Craven Cottage. Again, these are the sort of games where I think we should be targeting getting some points on the board. Tricky game against Tottenham in the previous one, but at this stage of the save, we're not at that level, so I'm not too bothered if we lose those. But away at the Cottage to Fulham, let's aim for another 3 points. Come on, you Saints. Well, I am intrigued to see how we get on without our top scorer, Adam Armstrong. Cameron Archer's done okay for us, and he has popped up with a few goals here and there, but he's not really been a consistent source of goals. As Lallana lets fly straight down the throat of Bernd Leno, is Lallana looking to him to be our creative source. And it is rolled into Archer, tight angle. Leno just about gets there, and it's loose. And Brereton Diaz's strike is blocked on its route to go. I think it was heading wide of the post, but a little bit shaky there from the German Bernd Leno. Pereira, is there one last chance for Fulham here? Andreas into Billing, and now Smith Rowe forward to Muniz. Holds on to it well. Smith Rowe back to Muniz again. Strikes from range. And Ramsdale, well, he saw it all the way, but he had to get gloves behind it and parry it away. Andreas will swing the corner in. Is looking for Philip Billing, the Great Dane, and Ramsdale's there again. Berger back into the middle, is blocked and cleared, and I think that will do it. There is the whistle. Fulham pushing right at the death to try and claim all 3 points, but the sides will have to settle for one apiece. A reasonable result on the road, and we've been the draw specialist this season. As I say, defensively we've been pretty solid, but it's putting the ball in the back of the net that's been our issue. But as we jump straight into our next game here, it is high-flying West Ham coming to take us on at St Mary's, starting to slip down the table, now down into 15th, and looking over our shoulders as Ipswich, Leicester and Bournemouth starting to pick up some points and close the gap to the teams above them. It's going to be very, very tight down at the bottom of the table, I feel, this season, and we want to make sure we keep our heads above water. Tricky game here as West Ham travel to St Mary's. Come on, you Saints. Soler holds on to it, finds Jeremy Pino, arrived in the summer. Ball forward into Nicholas Fulkrug on the spin, and that's a big save by Aaron Ramsdale to keep the scores level. West Ham got a very, very strong side in career mode as the corners flicked away, and that's on to Suleimana, and he might fancy a run against Emerson here. Kamaldeen Suleimana just couldn't quite get away. Soler into Kudus. He really is a danger. Into Soler again. There is Fulkrug. And this time, West Ham do have the lead. Aaron Ramsdale couldn't get anything on it this time. And it's the big German who I believe is yet to score for West Ham at the time of recording, but I am a big fan of his. And here in the game, he's fired his side into the lead. Archer, straight from kickoff. Lallana, back to Archer. Lallana again. And the two keeping the ball nicely. There is Cameron Archer who lets fly. And Wes Foderingham in goal for West Ham making the save. Well, if you watch the Blades' career last year on FC24, as Brereton Diaz goes close, you'll know that we should be able to score past him today, because he was shocking for me in that save in our first season with the Blades. So far, though, we've not been able to find a way through him. Sugawara loses it. Fulkrug for 2. And we're certainly going to be behind at the break, but it's not just going to be by 1, as the big German gets his and West Ham's second right before the break and doubles up for the Irons. Terrible time to concede. Well, with Cameron Archer really struggling to find the back of the net for us, I've looked to my bench, and it's Onuachu who's there. Scored the winner at Villa Park, and I've called on him again as we look to get back into this. Brereton Diaz just can't buy a goal at the moment. What a big chance for the Chilean. He went on a good sort of mini patch at the beginning of the season, but he's not scored for I think 7 or 8 matches now in the Premier League, and that was a huge opportunity. Well, there is the whistle, and it's a similar sort of story for Southampton. We're playing pretty well, we're competitive, but we just cannot find the back of the net. Brereton Diaz went closest for us on a couple of occasions, but especially with Adam Armstrong down, we are really, really struggling at the moment. And maybe with the January transfer window just around the corner, we need to be looking to bring somebody in, a proven goal scorer, as we did with the Blades last year on FC24 with that signing of Danny Ings. Yeah, if you know, then you know how good Danny Ings was for us in our first couple of seasons of that career mode last year. I'm still waiting for the transfer for Bella Kotchap to go through. We have had a bid from Bournemouth, but I think I'd actually rather see him go to Brighton. Although saying that, Bournemouth down the bottom of the table might be looking to sort of make some reinforcements, bring some players in. And with Bella Kotchap seemingly in the shop window, I'm going to ask for 7.5 again. And I will give him the choice, staying on the south coast, joining either Bournemouth or Brighton. And with that in mind, I think what I'm also going to do, you can see him there, Jack Stevens. Yes, he's 30 years of age, but just 6 months left on his contract. I think I'm going to give him another 1 year to take him to the end of next season, as I don't want to be too short a centre-back with Bella Kotchap departing. Up front as well, with the injury to Armstrong, we've got Onuachu and Stewart, but neither of which I have a lot of faith in. So I'm going to be a little bit bold here, and I'm actually going to promote the young man, Connor Cox. There he is, just 16 years of age. I'm going to chuck him straight in at the deep end. So yeah, the youngster going to be given a chance as we travel to Selhurst Park. Of course, we used them right at the end of FC24 in our previous career mode. And they're one of the teams sort of clustered in this bottom half of the Premier League table. Just a few points clear of us, but it's getting pretty tight down at the bottom, with Ipswich starting to string a couple of wins together as they've just beaten Chelsea at Portman Road. Really, really big game here as we need to get back to winning ways away at Selhurst Park. Come on, you Saints. Well, plenty of fixtures in the month of December, and we're struggling with fatigue, so changes again with Onuachu coming in up top, getting his chance. The young man Cox is on the bench, not straight in from the off, but certainly a chance to be given his Premier League debut here, as I've liked the look of him in those youth tournaments. Of course, very, very different playing in the Premier League. Well, Palace will get us underway in the second half here, and again, it's not been the most exciting of games. We've defended pretty well, but we've not created anything. Neither have Crystal Palace, though. There's not really been a single chance in those opening 45 minutes. I probably would have taken a point before the game, but yeah, I'd love to get all 3 here if we can somehow snatch a goal from somewhere. Oh, Sugawara's not got there. Mateta's in, he squared it, and Mbeumo opens the scoring, and Crystal Palace from out of nowhere have the opening goal. And we just cannot buy a win in the Premier League at the moment. It's a brilliant little pass down the channel into Mateta, and he's got the awareness to pick out Mbeumo, who was never ever going to miss. Well, with that, I'm calling on the young man. Connor Cox is off the bench for his Premier League debut. Here he is. And what a time for the youngster. I'm giving him a chance today because, well, no one else is finding the net. We might as well give the youngster the opportunity to do so. Leslie picks up the loose ball, but it's a poor pass forward. Cornet does win it back, though. No, ref, that's never a foul. And I was just about to slide through the youngster Cox into Aribo. And Aribo driving on. Aribo still couldn't squeeze it forward to Cox. And again, we fall to a very, very narrow defeat. Crystal Palace winning it pretty late on in the second half. And again, it's the same story for the Saints. We just cannot find a way to put the ball in the net. We've not scored since the win at Villa Park at the end of the previous episode. I think that now makes it 3 or potentially 4 even games without a goal in the Premier League, and we're really, really struggling without our top scorer Adam Armstrong. Well, as we're heading towards the January transfer window, big news here is Armel Bella-Kotchap has decided to join the Seagulls. It's certainly a step up in his career, but I am really gutted that he handed in that transfer request because he was my long-term replacement. Or long-term partner. He was my long-term partner for Taylor Harwood-Bellis in the backline. Jack Stevens is happy that we've given him a new contract, and now Cameron Archer is saying that he needs more game time. Well, that's the last thing we need, is another player handing in a transfer request. Well, some more bad news here as we see Maxwell Cornet has been recalled by West Ham. Didn't feature a huge amount for us, but it is another player that we've lost. Thankfully, Mateus Fernandes is coming back from his injury. And we have now made it to the 1st of January, so officially in the transfer window. And we've got a transfer offer there, it seems, for Mateus Fernandes. Well, he's been down for most of the season, but he is... Oh, no, it's not a transfer offer, it's a player conversation. Mate, I'm going to need you, Mateus. I'm going to need you because Adam Lallana retiring at the end of the season. He's struggled at times to really be the leader in this team. And I think Mateus Fernandes could be the real difference maker. Absolutely huge game here as we take on Brentford. Officially at the halfway stage now. You can see the Premier League table is very, very tight. And Ipswich, as I say, really starting to pick up their form and fight for their safety, whilst Bournemouth and Leicester further adrift at the bottom. Brentford sat just above the relegation zone in 17th place, and that is who we will take on next. Huge, huge clash at home at St Mary's, and we're desperate to return to winning ways here. Come on, you Saints. Yeah, this game here, arguably the biggest of the season as we officially cross into the second half of the campaign. A massive, massive relegation 6-pointer. We were quite unlucky not to win the reverse fixture at the G-Tech after that pretty dubious penalty was awarded against us. But Aaron Ramsdale did make a huge save in the final moments to secure the point for us. And yeah, with our really poor run of form, we've not scored in our last, I think, 5 in the Premier League. Go on, Archer. Go on, Cam. Go on, Cam. Tight angle, Archer shoots and Flecken saves, and Brentford will clear. And yeah, no wins since the trip to Villa Park. I think that was the beginning of October, or no, beginning of November, sorry. So yeah, it's been a really, really tricky run of form as Lallana in behind and the flag is raised. Promising start from the Saints though. Now it's a good Chukwu and Brereton Diaz coming inside. KWP lifts it into Brereton Diaz again. Tight angle. Diaz shoots and It wouldn't fall for Cameron Archer in the middle off the save from Mark Flecken, hoping for a rebound there and a tap in for Archer, but it's just not meant to be for the Saints. Well, I'm calling on the young man again, Connor Cox. He's likely to go out on loan in this January window, but giving the youngster a chance, just 16 years of age. And Suleimana is onside. And the cross is swung into Cox. And there's Shirkin! Southampton lead! It's a huge goal from Dennis Shirkin. What a moment that could be for Southampton to turn our season around. Cox being a handful at the back post. And it's Shirkin ghosting into the penalty area. The ball just drops to him. And on his right foot, drills it past Mark Flecken to give us the lead. That is a huge goal from the summer signing. And surely that is going to do it. Where is the whistle, ref? There it is. A huge victory for the Saints to pull us away from the bottom three. And Brentford in some real trouble, getting dragged into the relegation scrap. Dennis Shirkin with his first goal for the club. And if you're going to score your first goal, make it a memorable one. Dennis Shirkin certainly has there. And he does give us a bit more attacking prowess down the wing, so certainly one to look out for moving forward. But it's his first goal for the club that leads us to victory in the Premier League. So we've got the big clash against Boro to come in the FA Cup third round. But before we get there, I think we've actually got another batch of scouting from Scotland, England and Cyprus. So let's see if we've got anyone decent. Well, from Scotland, we've just got the three goalkeepers here. Ollie Smith's now turned 17, but the potential has decreased, so I think I'm actually going to reject him. As for Shane Malcolm, he looks very good at just 15, so he is going to be getting a pro deal. And I think Ben Ferguson as well at 17 years of age is also going to get one. Now that is the end of our scouting mission in Scotland. So we could potentially send this scout out once again, and I might keep him close to home. Of course, we'll only be able to scout for 3 months, so potentially we keep him in the British Isles. I think I might send him to Northern Ireland for the remaining 3 months of the season. Potentially looking for... I'm not actually too sure, you know. Do we just go goalkeeper again? I might go goalkeeper again and just see if we get any more goalkeepers. We've done Scotland. We'll do Ireland for the remaining 3 months. And then next season, we'll send all 3 of our scouts out for 9 months. As for England, we've got a few players here that look pretty decent. Ed Lowe at just 17 years of age with a really high starting overall, but the potential's not great. Same with Ronnie Hartley, although I think I may be correct in saying that playing the youth tournaments actually increases the potential. So someone like Ed Lowe, who's got a really high starting overall, we could potentially increase the potential to get it higher. I'm not 100% sure how it works, but I'm going to keep the scouting on him for now. I won't give him a pro deal, but we won't release him. It's a similar sort of story from Cyprus. Aristides Papa still looks pretty good at just 15 years of age. But we've got another Papa here and also Dimitri, both with pretty good starting overalls, but the potentials aren't great. So I think I'm going to continue scouting them for now, as I don't want to get rid of them if they could potentially have a potential upgrade. So we have got another youth tournament that's come around. I'm not going to start playing it just yet because I want to close out the episode with the FA Cup third round. But if we take a look at the players we've got here, I mean, the two Cypriot midfielders, again, both pretty good starting overall, but the potentials aren't great. So I might keep an eye on that when we play the next youth tournament and see if that does increase if we win it. As for the players with the best potential, we've still got Matthew Hodgson looking really, really good. 89 to 94 potential. Well, all right then, we'll close out the episode with this one. Middlesbrough coming to take us on at St Mary's off the back of that fantastic victory against Brentford in the Premier League. Looking to go back-to-back here at St Mary's and progress through to the 4th round of the FA Cup against Championship opposition. Come on, you Saints. And that is going to do it. Another 0-0 draw. And we are heading for a replay at the Riverside. We've just got such a big issue with putting the ball in the back of the net. And with the January transfer window now open, that may be something that we have to look into. Oh, well, I'm wrong, aren't I? There are no cup replays anymore. Completely forgot about that. We're going to extra time, and straight from kickoff, Cox couldn't get away. I completely forgot that they've scrapped the cup replays, so we're not going for a replay at the Riverside. We're going to continue and have extra time and potentially another penalty shootout here. And at the rate the two sides are going, I don't see anyone finding the net. Aribo, last chance to get the ball forward. Can we avoid the dreaded penalty shootout? Great run by Suleimana. Cox looking to stay on side. Can he win it? Connor Cox is a fantastic tackle by Matt Clark, and that is going to do it. The youngster couldn't find the goal, what would have been his first for the club to send us through, but we are now heading to the penalty shootout. Well, our third shootout of the season already. Brereton Diaz up first, sends Bryn the wrong way. Balazar will be up first for the Boro and sends Bazunu the wrong way. One apiece as Aribo is up next. Joe Aribo also sends Bryn the wrong way. 100% record so far is Latte Lath. Oh, Bazunu goes the right way but can't get there. Kamaldeen Suleimana up next. Into the far corner. Not the greatest pen, but they all count. Johnny Howson. Again, we've gone the right way, but can't get gloves on it. Flynn Downs looking for that top corner and finding it. Need a penalty save from somewhere. Mr. Gavin Bazunu. McGree down the middle scores. 4 apiece. Connor Cox, the kid. What are you made of, young man? Connor Cox scores from the penalty spot. And we're one save away from winning it. Finn Azaz for the Boro sends Bazunu the wrong way. We're not on for another 9-8 here, are we? Shirkin scored that big goal in the last Premier League game against Brentford and does find the back of the net. Bergzorg. Oh, Bazunu didn't dive. Went the right way but didn't dive. Gruev, who had his penalty saved against Watford. Gruev this time does find the top corner and Lenihan needs to score. Bazunu with the chance and is straight down the middle. 7 apiece as Stevens, just about into the roof of the net. Luke Ayling up next. Ayling, this time Gavin Bazunu does get gloves on it. It's not 9-8, it's 8-7. And it's our third penalty shootout of the save. But this time we will be progressing to the 4th round of the FA Cup. Another ridiculous shootout to end the episode.
Thank you, that's all.
Alright then guys, we will end the episode here. We'll quickly find out who it is we will face, as the draw will have been made straight away. And it's Derby away from home at Pride Park as Wrexham take on Manchester United in the 4th round of the FA Cup. But looking at the Premier League table, that big win against Brentford has just given us a little bit of separation. Leicester have a lot of work to do if they are to save themselves from relegation. But Bournemouth and Ipswich giving it a real good go. Brentford and Brighton not too far behind, but we are currently 7 points clear of the drop zone, just over the halfway stage in the season. But guys, that will do it for today. We'll be back in the next episode to play through the rest of the January transfer window, where I definitely think we need to bring in some reinforcements up front. I'll catch you for that very soon, guys. Take care and peace.